Power Shake. Then you've got the Super Meal with the Power Shake. I mean, the Super Meal with the Apothecary. Then we have this Love Dark Berry, which we don't sell here in the States, but I hear it's the most delicious drink imaginable. And then we've got the Gut Health, which is our Biomedic. We've got C from Nature. You know, they've got almost all the same products that we have here pretty much. Can't Beat This, Control. And then you got Apothecary by itself and all the other ones. So if you go on Platinum like UK.biz with / your gift card code, you have your own website there to use your gift cards to use European gift cards. So always know that. So we're real fortunate today to have this lady on our call. She's Carolyn. This is I love this. Carolyn, this is one of the websites she's on over, on the web, and it says Carolyn is a homeopath, a health writer. She's a published writer. She's a well-known coach to celebrities, to all kinds of folks throughout England and Europe. She's providing natural medicine solutions for all ages, women, health, weight loss, immune support, fertility, pregnancy, menopause, skin problems, detox. Caroline has worked in homeopathic flower essence as publisher health coach for over 20 years in her London-based practice, and has more recently added online consultation for clients worldwide. And she got her 4-year degree in homeopathy, which here in the United States, we call them a homeopathic doctors. I don't know if they use doctor over there in England, but she's has the credentials as a homeopathic doctor. And those of us that are into Purium, I've been using homeopaths for over 35, 40 years, homeopathic remedies. I believe in them. I love them. When I feel anything coming on, I go for a homeopathic remedy first. And if you look here on this next picture, hold on one second. Look at this. She even made the hip list. So we have a really hip, cool person here today on our call to share with us a lot of great platinum information, which covers the Purium products as well. So please, let's welcome Dr. Carolyn Gaskin. Hi, Carolyn.
Thank you so much for such a nice intro.
Oh, you're welcome.
And yeah, I mean, you said a lot about what I do, and I've been doing that for 20 years officially, although a bit longer, because treating people and prescribing for people is part of our training. And I got into homeopathy and the natural health world through my children, which many women do. In that it was the first time in my life really that I'd had to make health choices for someone other than myself. So that was over 30 years ago when I had my son, and I needed to make choices about what kind of food I was going to give him, what kind of medicine choices, health choices I was going to make. And like many women, I started to kind of question what was around, and we got into, organic lifestyle, natural parenting, and with that came natural health choices. And so when he had a cough, when he was 2 months old, I went to the doctor and she wanted to give him a medication with a sedative in it. And I just knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to give my son something with potential side effects. And I really didn't like the idea of giving him a sedative at night just to stop his cough. So I went to see a local homeopath, and that's how I got into what I do. As I gave my kids that kind of option for fevers and teething and all those things that kids go through, and change of life stuff, when they start school, it was a real support. And I think I went to the homeopath one day and she said to me, I said something to her, I'm not really quite sure what I said, but she said, I think you need to come and see me too. And she gave me a remedy that completely changed my life. And it kind of I always say it got to the bottom of the barrel that is Caroline Gaskin, and made me look at some stuff that I'd never really looked at. And from that time onwards, I began to get more and more interested in natural health options. And, in those days, organic was hardly a word that we used. And now it's something that you can't walk into a store without wanting to find where, you know, for me, where the organic section is. And so that kind of whole lifestyle that we now have about being able to choose organic, being able to choose natural health options, I feel has really grown with particularly women my age, introducing it to their families. And it's something that has become a choice that we're much more informed about. And with that, you know, and with my work, I get asked a lot about what can I do? You know, it's a great question to ask yourself. What do people always ask you? They say, can I pick your brains about so-and-so? And that's where your expertise, your warmth, your kind of heart-centered space is. When someone says to you, oh, can I pick your brains about so-and-so? And for me, it's often health and parenting issues. And my practice has really grown with my children. So as I grew and went through menopause and began to kind of recognize what were menopausal symptoms, that became part of my practice as well. So as you heard from Michael's intro, I work a lot with women and children, particularly. That's grown into managing menopause naturally. That's a big conversation over here, and I'm sure it is in the UK, in the US and Canada as well. That women are beginning to talk about what they experience as menopause, and it's a big part of my work. And my first thing that I turn to is natural health options. So I might be looking at naturopathic practices, things like, you know, skin brushing, having a cold shower, taking Epsom salt baths, and then adding in greens every day to help balance our hormones. So these green foods that we have in our Purium and Platinum ranges, so it's called Purium in the US, as you know, we call it Platinum in Europe. And our green foods are bitter and they help us balance sugar cravings. They help our liver in its function. So for me to get a woman who's got hormonal health issues into having one green juice a day, our power shake, as we call it in the US, or we call it Hippocrates power shake over here in the UK and Europe. For a woman to get that into her radar every day is going to help her balance her hormones, because it helps balance her blood sugar. And when our blood sugar is more stable, then we start to make progesterone, which is our feel-good hormone, more efficiently. So there's lots and lots of things in the Purium and Platinum stable, if you like, of all the supplements and superfoods that we have that can really help us balance our hormones. And when Michael showed us, you know, that what you call the core three, what we call the daily max, that's a really amazing place to start, because you've got the power shake, Hippocrates power shake, we call it. We've got the master aminos, which you call master amino 23. Over here in Europe, we call MAP, master aminos. And these really help us balance our blood sugar. They help us tone our muscle. They help us lose weight as well, so lose the fat. Fantastic choice for a woman who's going through hormonal change, which, because we tend, you know, over here especially, and I think it's the same in States, we're tending towards a low thyroid picture at the moment. And there's lots of reasons in our environment as to why that might be. But a product like this can really help us ultimately metabolize protein more efficiently, which is the role of the thyroid. It helps us metabolize protein, and the MAP is going to help that function. And then we've got the apothecary, which is really great because it enhances our production of melatonin. And many women will say, you know, I can't sleep before my period, or I'm having sleep problems throughout menopause. So something like the core three is a great combination to get women onto when they're going through any types of hormonal change. And it could be something that even a woman in pregnancy would get onto as well. I often recommend, can I ask you, Michael, do you have the Love Super Meal still in the States?
Yes, we do. We have it's the original and the chai vanilla.
Yeah, cool. So we have those as well. We call them Love Super Meal. And that is a great product for a woman who's breastfeeding. for somebody who's looking for a bit more stamina. So that might be something that I get someone onto post-menopausally, when their energy is a bit low and they're looking to boost their energy. So there's lots of great products, as I see it, that we can use in our stable of amazing superfoods. And I tend to just add them into my practice. So when somebody comes to see me, they might be coming to see me for homeopathy, but I'm often, which is an energy medicine, but I'm often, in fact, 98% of the time saying, you also need to do something about your diet, and you also need to do something about your lifestyle. And some of those things are very, very low cost, like learning to skin brush or learning to have a cold shower at the end of your shower to stimulate your circulation system. And some of those you might want to get into your life on a regular basis. So I kind of want to say fire away with any questions. So has anyone got anything that they'd love to ask? We can talk about how the business is in Europe. That's also really useful. So one of the things that we've just said is that we have different names for some of the products. And I'll just briefly say actually why that is. It's because when you have a product like Biomedic in the US, we in Europe, because of just because of the European Union rules, we can't attach the term medic to a supplement because it implies that it has medicinal value, which we all know it does, but our European regulations mean that we can't claim so many things as you can claim in the States. So if you're working with people in Europe, come and ask us and say, is it okay to say this about a product? And you've also got Debbie in Purium, who's fantastic. She's done some really great recordings of the kind of things that you can and can't say. So it's just something to know, not to be worried about, but just to say, I should ask somebody if I want to promote a product in Europe for a certain reason. So I would never say, MAP rewires your thyroid. But I can say my personal experience going through menopause was that MAP really rewired my thyroid because I began to metabolize protein better. How did I know? My energy improved. So I can talk about my personal experience, but I can't claim cure. And it's much easier for you in the States and maybe Canada to kind of say more about the product. So it's just a little distinction. Saying that, there's some great information on our website, so you can always go to the Platinum website and just see what it says about the product, and anything it says on that site you can say about the product. Michael, do you have a question?
Well, Caroline, I see. I mean, I think what the advice you just gave of sharing your experience, but the way you just shared the aminos, I don't know if most people can share it that eloquently, because you did it in a way where that was an important point about how it helped you. And I think if we all were more clear about in how we speak about how the products have specifically helped us, I think you don't need to, there's no claims that need to be made really, because because that was a great way that you shared that. Now, being that you're a practitioner, everybody says, in network marketing, God, I'd love to sponsor a practitioner. If only, oh yes, because they'll be great or whatever, right? So you being a practitioner, how were you introduced to Purium?
Yeah, great. It's just when you were talking, I was thinking I really need to say, I have been saying this for 6 years because I've been using the products for 6 years. So I was introduced by somebody in the UK who was following Troy Casey, and he kept talking about this guy. And to me, Troy's name, he sounds like the Ken that goes with the Barbie. So he kept talking about this Troy Casey. I was like, Troy Casey? Who's Troy Casey? And this was, 6 years ago, let's not forget, it was really early days in Instagram. Instagram's come a long way. So Troy kind of, so I kind of looked up Troy as a certified health nut. And not long after I was introduced to the products by someone in the UK, I bought the 10-day cleanse. And I had this phenomenal experience. I had a client who, of all places, she's in the Middle East. And she said to me, she'd got a weight loss issue. You know, she really was finding it difficult to lose weight. And I'd been working with her for a few months. And I said, look, I'm just trying out this new stuff. I just need to see how it is. I love to try everything first, because the proof, as Lucy said a couple of weeks ago, the proof is in the pudding. You know, we are the pudding. We need to eat the proof, and we need to see how it bakes. And we were just looking at those fabulous cakes earlier on. So, you know, we are what we eat and all these things. So anyway, so I was introduced to the products and I bought the cleanse. And just to say, we have a slightly different, we call it the 10-day transformation in Europe, and you call it the lifestyle, ultimate lifestyle, don't you? You know, so we just same products, slightly different combination. Anyway, I bought this and I did it for 5 days. I think I was quite scared about the idea of going 10 days without food. I think I just had no concept. Bearing in mind, 6 years ago, all our information about platinum was in German. So I just bought this stuff and I had some instructions in German. Anyway, I did 5 days and I then flew to Australia, and I carried on doing the 5 days spread out. And I was like, wow, this is quite interesting stuff. You know, I really didn't have much idea about what I was doing. And when I came back in the April, I said to this client, I'm going to do the cleanse properly. I'm going to do 10 days. And I said to her, look, I'll let you know how it is. And before I knew it, she'd bought the 10-day cleanse and I'd got some money in my bank account. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This network marketing business, it just happened like that. And I did the cleanse. And on day 8, I put one picture on social media because I was amazed at how I felt. And I'm sure if you've done the 10-day cleanse, you know how that is. And I got to day 8 and I thought, I'm sure we're meant to feel like this all the time. And so I just put this one picture of me with a big glass of green stuff, one of these glasses full of green stuff. And I just had so many comments from people saying, what are you doing? You look amazing. And before I knew it, I had a group cleanse on my hands. And so I encourage my team to think about doing a group cleanse. And if they're not ready to organize a group cleanse themselves, just come on the group cleanse with me. So we do that at least twice a year. And there'll be people who start at different times throughout the month. So we tend not all to start on the same day, but to start in the course of 6 weeks. And so for, 12 weeks of the year, I'll be running a group cleanse and I'll be supporting people through that at some stage. Well, not long after I did that first cleanse, which was the April of 2015, Troy Casey came over to the UK and I met him in Kentish Town, which is not far away from where I live. And it was in the basement of this practice, like a chiropractor's practice, I think. And there were maybe 20, 25 people in the basement and Troy talking. And the energy in the room was so high and so vibrant and so exciting. And nearly all of those people are still involved in platinum, and as we call it in Europe. And I'm still in communication with them on a regular basis. And one of those came and talked on my superfood Q&A, which I have every week, which you're really welcome to. It's on Thursdays at 10 a.m. your time, 6 p.m. my time. And I can put the information over to Michael, who's going to come and talk on it this week. So if you want a bit more Michael this Thursday at 10 a.m., come on my call. And we just talk about the products and we share experiences. And it's just a nice place to be. And some of those people I've known for 6 years, so quite often I get Troy to come on the call and talk as well. And, and that's how I got into the products. And they were so resonant for me and they were resonant for people who were interested, and they still are, so every time I do a cleanse, people will be posting, and a real tip, if you want to build your business, is to capture some data. And the data that you need to capture is the first name and the second name and the email address of people who are interested, and write to them on a regular basis. Even if at the time that person says, no, not for now, write to them on a regular basis and say, hey, you remember those products that I told you about? Well, we're doing a group cleanse in April. Do you fancy coming along? Or would you like to hear more about it? Or how are you doing? you sounded like you were interested, but you were busy at the time. And I can't tell you the amount of people who've been reading my emails for 12 years who finally get round to saying to me things like, that those superfoods you're talking about, I wouldn't mind doing the 10-day cleanse. We're very polite in England. So, keep singing your song about this stuff is what I'm saying.
First of all, I love your warm personality in your heart, because you have such a, but I love how you just said, we're very polite here in England. I'm sure that has a lot to do with your success as well, being the polite person that you are.
I guess so, maybe. I just think people, and also, do you know something I learned the other day? And I don't think it was on one of your calls. No, it wasn't. Was that we used to say that it takes people 7 times of being exposed to something. So 7 times of you waving around an amazing product, or let me pick up this one. This is our version of biomedic. We call it gut harmony. And as I said, we can't use the term medic, so we call it gut harmony. What else do I have here? Oh, this product. This one I love at this time of year, and this one has been a major seller for me during COVID. This one is called Red Algae Plus, and it's what you call VirusSure in the US. Exactly the same ingredients, a phenomenal support for viral complaints. So anybody who's struggling, this has been on my shelf. And when COVID came in March, I took this for 4 months solid. So just me saying that, me repeat saying that to my clients on a regular basis, means that someone's going to come forward and say, hey, I want to look at a more natural immune support. Why would I choose this product over the next? Because read the label, it's got nothing nasty in it. This is the kind of stuff that I always say to people. So yeah, great to get to know the product. But eventually people will come around. Another product you have is super xanthin, we call it astaxanthin, which is its technical name, as a really high powered antioxidant. And one of the things that I love to say about this is that compared to the other antioxidants, which mop up after the event has happened, so we've wreaked havoc on our system with some kind of free radicals from the environment. We might have been traveling on a plane if we're really lucky. We might have been exposed to some smoke, or we might have been out in a polluted traffic. Most antioxidants mop up after the event. Astaxanthin is like the bouncer on the door of your personal nightclub. This does the work before it happens. So this keeps the bad stuff out of your system. That's an amazing thing to be able to say about a product. So yeah, so that was a long way round of saying something to you, Michael.
I like that. It's the bouncer. That's good.
It's the bouncer. Yeah. Do you call it a bouncer in the States? The guy on the door, is he a bouncer? Yeah.
Yeah. He's the guy that makes you be a good girl and boy when you walk in the room.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how do you? Go ahead.
No, I said astaxanthin's the bouncer.
We call it super xanthin here, and I love it. I eat it every day. So another question is, how's the gut harmony? How are you finding the gut harmony and using the gut harmony?
I love it as a product. So a really sweet young guy came to see me recently, has terrible allergies, and he's trying to work out what his allergies are, and he is he's 19 or something, and it sent him, along with COVID, it sent him into an anxious tailspin. So he did a food intolerance test with me, and sadly he needs to get off the dairy, and he loves chocolate. So we had a conversation about eating raw chocolate, which is so much better for him. And our vegan lady that talked earlier, I know, Julie, I think, let's get people onto raw chocolate. And he is taking this gut harmony, which, as you know, is a relatively expensive probiotic. And, I hadn't said to him, really, go organic with your grains. And I should have done, and I needed to, and I said to him, for goodness sake, you know, it's a couple of days ago. You know, he said we did the food intolerance test, and wheat wasn't an issue, but it was quite high on the food intolerance. It wasn't super high. It didn't say he really needed to give it up, but I said, you know what, just give it up for 6 weeks. And for goodness sake, when you eat grains, eat organic so that you're not putting all those pesticides back in your system. So I love this, you know, because this is clearing pesticides from the system. It's reducing C-reactive protein. We have the tests available. If you don't have that information, go and find it in the back office and download it so you can just send it to clients. So what I do when someone is obviously struggling with, you know, the pesticide residue in their food is I have a little email that's pretty much, I might tweak it slightly, but it has those studies attached to it. It has a couple of other speakers. Dr. Stephanie Seneff is very good. She is possibly Canadian, actually. She's a fantastic speaker on glyphosate and how we need to get it out of our system. And she talks very, very clearly about the effects of glyphosate, how it's behind autism. It's not necessarily the only cause, but it's behind exacerbation. It's behind leaky gut. It's behind thyroid issues. It's behind sleep issues. She's brilliant on glyphosate. So I send my clients a couple of links to her talking. And I say, this is why you need to take this stuff to get glyphosate out of your system, to reduce the C-reactive protein is about inflammation in the system. So let's bring down the inflammation with a phenomenal product, but don't put the rubbish back in your system. Go organic with grains. And the other thing, if you are building a downline in Europe, we have, and I believe it's the same for you, the same 4-pack offer on this. So it works out slightly better value, and it's almost 4 for 3. It's not quite 4 for 3 in terms of price, but almost. So I get people onto the 4-pack of it, so that they're taking it for a good 4 months, and then they'll really see the difference. So yeah, that's my tips around that. So it's a phenomenal product.
Well, thank you so much. Anybody on the line would like to unmute and ask any question to Caroline?
Nadine, you can unmute yourself, Nadine.
Yes, thank you so much, Caroline, for just being here and just, you know, educating us. I have a question about Divira. So I made a post on Facebook about it, and they took it down. It wasn't I just kind of related it to COVID. I happened to mention COVID that I was using this, and they took it down for incorrect information. So how would you rephrase that? So
yeah, that's a brilliant question. So we can never talk about something curing a disease, and we definitely can't talk about that with pandemics. And this is a kind of global thing, and it's been around since the swine flu in 2006. So since that point in time, it was rewritten that if there's a pandemic, you can't claim cure for it. And this is just kind of globally. So the way to talk about it is to look at the detail on your Purium website and on the Platinum website. And you say something like, this is a fantastic support for viral issues. And you couldn't say, I mean, I get, you know, if somebody has like herpes, which is a really difficult virus to beat, I get them onto the ViraSure for 4 months alongside some other naturopathic and homeopathic protocols. But I can't ever say this is a product that heals you from something or cures something. So as long as you say it's a support for viral complaints, or it may help with viral complaints, everybody kind of knows what you mean. But, you know, just stick to the information. And if in doubt with anything like this, just ask your upline. And if they don't know, they ask their upline. And that's one of the things that I love about this business that we're in, is there's always someone with an answer to your question, and that this is a level playing field. You know, we all come into it. I happen to know a lot of things about health stuff, but you absolutely don't need to know that in order to run your business. And if in doubt, you know, I do it all the time. If in doubt, ask someone else. So I hope that helps.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think ViraSure would be beneficial for Epstein-Barr?
Yes, any virus really. Again, I could never say, you know, that, but if I have somebody who has that or what you call mono, then I would definitely be thinking about getting them onto ViraSure. It's a great product.
Would it be like a daily thing for how long?
Yeah, our instructions, always read the label, because the thing about all of these products, and this is a great product to talk about this with, is Dave Sandoval has the most phenomenal knowledge bank. He studied so many different herbal paradigms and medicinal paradigms, and from all over the world. And so when he puts something into a formula, it is totally unique compared to a lot of other products on the market. It's always got the purest intention. There's never any rubbish or fillers or binders in it. And so this is in a great balance. And one of the ingredients in this is oregano oil. Now, I'm not a fan of taking essential oils. So these are pure essential oils internally. If I talk to an aromatherapist in the UK, they would say never take an aromatherapy oil internally. And there may be people on the call who are affiliated with essential oil companies, and it's okay to take stuff internally. I never personally recommend that, because pure essential oils are incredibly potent, and we really don't know the effects of imbibing a lot of essential oils. You know, and in my book, there's only 2 we should ever put neat on the skin, and they are lavender and tea tree oil, and all others should be diluted in like a carrier oil. And also thinking about a certain percentage, and certain essential oils are contraindicated with certain health conditions, and certain essential oils that are very potent are contraindicated with other medicines. So this is mainstream medicine. So again, one of those things to say, not sure, gonna ask someone. Pregnancy, not sure, gonna ask someone. You know, so when we've got very, very potent stuff, we need to be careful. Now, this has oregano oil in it, and it is the only product with oregano oil that I'll recommend to people. I had a patient a few years ago now who'd taken neat oregano oil, and she got what was really like a kind of acne rosacea type reaction. She had gut reaction, her gut inflamed. You know, it took her months to get the effects of that out of her sensitive system. But I'm confident that when I recommend these to a client, and usually it's one of these 3 times a day for a viral complaint, that Dave Sandoval's got the mix right. And you mentioned Control earlier on, Michael, which is, we have it over in Europe as well. It's called Control. And go and look up the 4 ingredients in Control. Now, I'd never heard of, I think one of them, green tea extract, I knew about. The others I didn't know about as weight control, as helping us balance the way that we metabolize carbohydrates. Now, those 4 products are absolutely phenomenal. I've never seen them in any other product. So that's what we've got with Purium. We've got something unique, and we've got something specially formulated. Now, we haven't talked about the kids products. One of the things that I love about the kids products in both the US and UK and Europe is that these products, and this may be general in the US, but it's not in Europe, the kids products are given by weight. So if you've got an 8-year-old who's a big 8-year-old, who's tall and who's broad, they're going to have that product by body weight. So this is much more sensible. If you've got a tiny wee 8-year-old, you know, who's really petite, they're going to need a completely different dose by body weight. And any kids product that's sold by age, I now think is quite questionable, you know, because with the problems that we have with obesity, our kids are coming in really different ages, in shapes and sizes, and also culturally, you know, over here, our Afro-Caribbean kids will be much bigger, much taller, much broader at age 8, 9, 10 than their white Caucasian counterparts. So this is something, again, that I really love about the Purium products for kids, is things like the Kids Focus, the Kids Shield, which is the immune system support for kids, are done by body weight. You know, and I think that's really clever, and it's a really great point of sale. And I feel safe with that. You know, a lot of this is about safety. What do you feel comfortable with? If there's a prescription that you're not sure about, you know, what do I give to somebody who's got a particular condition? Then again, you know, just ask. And I have to say it to clients all the time, always read the label. If it says 1-3 times a day, that's what we need.
Oh, thank you. And anybody else have a question?
I have a couple questions. Thank you. I posted it in the chat, but I was curious about guar gum. Like, exactly what is it? Where does it come from? And with the Appleberry Power Shake and like the Can't Beat This, they have natural flavors. Like, it's not actually the ingredient as far as I can understand it, but it says it's natural flavors. So I'm just curious, where does it come from? And like, I always get skeptical when I hear natural. So I'm just wondering what that's about.
I know exactly what you mean. Thanks for asking that. I have got some information on that, and I have heard Dave Sandoval talk on that. And I believe that if you still got access to them, the Meet the Owners call, he's answered some of those questions. We used to have the most phenomenal guy, Michael, you're going to have to remind me his surname, the amazing naturopath that we had.
Dr. Wilfield.
Yeah, he's such a lovely guy. So when I started working with these products initially, I could just drop him a line and ask him questions like that, because it's really detailed. Check the Green Food Bible for guar gum, because I can't answer that myself. And drop a line to head office. They may well have that line on natural flavors, because I know exactly what you mean. But from memory, when you look into the detail, it's really great. So maybe come back to the group, do a little bit of research, and come back to the group as a whole, because we can all learn from that. And I know I've heard it and I feel comfortable with it, but I don't have the detail.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Angela, I'd recommend you do that as well. Any other questions?
Okay.
Yeah, Ra, you can unmute yourself, Ra.
Hey, I have a question.
Hey.
So, hi, in terms of attaining distributors in the Platinum program, what I find it difficult to explain to people that, and I might be understanding the compensation plan wrong, but that the first purchase, they will acquire 25% commission, right, of a sale. And then the second person, it goes down to 5% of the group volume. How do you present the opportunity to be, a direct sales distributor over there so that it sounds enticing?
Great question. First off, I think Debbie recently did a session with us. Did you attend that? Because that was brilliant. And that's really worth watching the recording of that, to have a look at how to work as a Purium brand partner. Over in Europe, we're called distributors or members. And we don't really use the term brand partner in the Platinum literature. So I usually have to explain that to people.
Do you know when that recording was, or when that was?
It's a few weeks ago, wasn't it, Lucy?
I will post it on the Love Team, Dra. And
Yeah. It was a brilliant call. Did you organize that, Lucy, or did she?
No, the company did. The company.
Yeah, it's really brilliant, and it really helps break down a lot. I mean, what we have in Europe as a European is we have give 50, get 50, the same as you. And I believe you have that for us. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So somebody who's going to come into the business that you're going to sign up as a brand partner or distributor member will have European version of that. So we have European gift cards, and we have 2 infinity packs, we call them, where you can purchase product and have unlimited gift cards. So for life, you have unlimited gift cards. They're worth looking at if you definitely want to build business. But most people, in my experience as Europeans, so if you're going to sign up someone in Europe to start, they want to try the product first. So they're going to get them onto the 10-day cleanse, and they will be saving on that purchase. Ongoingly, as a distributor, you always save 20% on product. But if you put in place a backup order or a standing order, then you get 30% on product. So you don't, is it the same in the States that you have a backup order in place or a standing order in place?
It's completely
And
different.
it comes out on a certain day of the month?
Yeah. That's it. That's yeah, the compensation plan, I get it. I was just wondering, like, culturally, where is your focus? Like, what type of people do you look for to become a distributor? Because over here, it's very lucrative for just anybody to sign up and be able to attain. It's really 20 to 30% commissions for all of their sales forever and for the lifetime of the clients.
Yeah.
And over there, it's not the case. So I was just wondering if there's a certain avatar of person, or maybe you only, you'd prefer to go after people that have retail centers like chiropractors and yoga studios, is because the compensation plan is massively different and the culture is different. So I was just wondering, like, in your brain, what are you looking for in distributors?
I think there's some great questions in there. I mean, one thing I would say is that the vast majority of people in the UK don't get network marketing yet, that we're just beginning to have that conversation. And that there are certain countries in Europe where they get network marketing and they're really into the concept. So that's worth kind of researching. But what I would say generally is that the Eastern European countries get the concept, but that the products translate as relatively expensive because the products are coming from the US into Germany and then getting posted out to those countries. So that's something where you're constantly looking for the sweet spot. Like, we're always doing that with multi-level marketing. And for us in England, we're not sure where we are against the euro. So we then have another translation, which is buying products in euros. So I'm in England and I'm buying products in euros. So I will be training my downline how to sidestep things like bank charges using TransferWise to make purchases, to keep kind of, if you're going to earn commission in euros, spend those euros on product and use a system that means that you're not paying a lot of banking charges when it comes back to you. So with that in mind, we only get paid on a monthly basis. We don't get payouts on a weekly basis because our bank charges in the UK to receive not euros, but to translate that. So there's a couple of things around that I'm not going to say front end, but I will be training my team to do once they've come in. So the vast majority of people in my team are simply wanting to eat healthy. They're interested in superfoods. They're interested in fitness. They're very aligned to, Troy's way of being. I would say that health practitioners, the Czech Institute is a great way in. So people who are looking at a very holistic way of health, I would say that that's where the energy is. And as a health practitioner, you can save 40% on product. Now, you need to understand the system to know how to do that, but you register with your health practitioner certificates, get people onto a standing order. And 21st of the month is today, so I'm going to look at my back office tomorrow and see where things are at, because my structure will have changed quite a lot. My commissions will have changed quite a lot tomorrow, because of the way that's calculated. And I'm guessing that's the same in the States, is it?
Yeah. So you're really emphasizing so these people that had the 40% discounts, they're buying products and then reselling them, like, in person, or
they might be. I mean, there's different ways of building business. I think I have a colleague that I work with. he buys product and he sells it because he's got a lot of space in his house. I much prefer to have the customer or the distributor buying directly. And I think the system works best for me if they are buying directly from the company rather than me buying product and selling it. But I have a couple of people in my downline who buy product and that becomes part of a bigger package that they do. So I have a naturopathic colleague who she does her weight loss package and she puts the 10-day cleanse into it. She puts a whole load of other protocols and she may put another couple of products in, you know, maybe homeopathy and flower essences or something like that. So there's nothing to stop you, and I'm guessing it's the same in the States. There's nothing to stop you creating your own package, you know, your own way of doing this. And Purium happens to be part of it, or Platinum happens to be part of it. So you can buy a product and you can sell it. You get 40% off and you can sell it, or you could create your own packages. Or, you know, what I tend to do is I have a Facebook group and I grow my business through talking about product on a regular basis, talking about experience on a regular basis, getting other people to talk about experience on my call once a week and to bring interested people on. I bring interested people into that space so that it becomes something that is an experience, not just a kind of point of sale. I think it's quite difficult. But I think we're about to break that space in the UK where people get into network marketing for network marketing's sake. And we've done it with hardware. So we've done it with electricity companies. Do you have the same energy companies that do MLMs? Yeah. So we've managed to do that in the UK because the UK mind is very practical when it comes to saving money around the house. The UK mind is not so good at looking after itself. So we need to be taught to look after ourselves. And we need to hear that the number one thing that people want to do come January 1st is no longer lose weight, but to feel better. So we need to have that conversation about how to feel better. And we need to nurture that conversation in the UK more. And we're doing it. It's great.
Thank
So
you so much.
that helps a teeny bit.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
And I would recommend, like Caroline was, she does her own Thursday call. You know, you call, you know, text Lucy, get the link, and you know, because you can see how knowledgeable she is, and this is the type of practitioner that I you know, that we all would want to look for, who is so educated about nutrition, and that's her focus. And you know, building a network marketing business over the years, as I've seen other people, there have been people that have been the biggest in the company and they only focused on product. They didn't even talk network marketing, and they made the biggest checks in the company. And there are people in that company that made equal to that check because they like to talk about business. So the balance is always there. And I love how your balance, Caroline, of how you share and I think in closing, if we got just a couple minutes, if you could just go back just briefly with, which I think was so important, what you call the daily max, and we call the core 3, which we don't have a core 3, but anybody can buy those 3 products and it comes to about the same price as it did before. Could you just recap on why that core 3 is so powerful for women hormonally? And because that's important, so important.
I think what's great about it basically is it's 30 days. So you've got a shake a day, so a power shake a day. And those greens are the bitter foods, if you think about the flavor. And what the bitter foods do is they help balance sweet cravings. So they help balance your blood sugar. And when your blood sugar is balanced, you draw up you draw up nutrients better. And when your blood sugar is balanced, you make progesterone better. And progesterone is our female feel-good hormone. We're very estrogen dominant in the world, in the West. And we're estrogen dominant because there are so many things in our environment that mimic our estrogens, chiefly pesticides, I have to say. So, you know, we go organic, and and we eat greens, we balance our blood sugar, and then we make progesterone more efficiently, and we become less estrogen dominant. So these two hormones are balancing. So the green food, you know, a shake a day, an amazing way to go. And then you've got your master aminos, what we call a MAP, your super aminos, sorry. And then these are really turning fat to muscle, again, helping balance your blood sugar. They are helping with your protein metabolism. You know, most people are not eating balanced protein. So if you're vegan, for instance, you need to work very hard at having a complete protein at every meal. And then follow up in the evening with, if you can do a meal replacement with the master aminos and a shake, it's a great way for most of us to go. If you can do the early morning and not eat anything till 12 with a green shake and your master aminos, it's a great way to go. Maybe pop in half an avocado or something, or an apple, and plenty of water. And then in the evening, have your apothecary. So the apothecary helps your system create its own melatonin. It's actually not right to say that apothecary, sour cherry, is melatonin. What it does is it stimulates your gut to make the right bacteria that are the precursors to the pineal gland creating melatonin. So it enhances melatonin production, basically. And the other thing that the apothecary does is it enhances our serotonin, so our feel-good brain chemical, one of them. And so if somebody's feeling low and depressed, have a tablespoon of the apothecary in the morning in the warm water, and have a tablespoon in the evening to help with the melatonin. So serotonin in the morning, feel good, melatonin in the evening, and help you to sleep. So that's my, core 3 is cool.
Well, so Lucy, any other comments you want, Lucy?
No, I think it was fantastic. I love it.
I love you, Lucy Mazes.
We have to bring you back again. So
Yeah, sure.
now that's it,
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
Caroline. All right, everybody. Let's have a big round of applause for Caroline Gaskin.
Thank
Woo!
you.
My God, that was elegant and comment, Caroline.
I just want to say thank you to you two for inviting me on. I love spending time with you, and really nice to meet the rest of the team. It's cool. Thank you. Have a great day. I'm going to have a great evening.
Oh,
Bye.
thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.